So when it comes to workplace compliance, if you fall short of your obligations, one of the things that we're very cognizant of is it may not even impact you or your business in the short term. So often we're told by clients that they really never had a problem with a disgruntled employee or any contact or audits from the Fair Work Ombudsman. So when considering a workplace relations review, I think it's really easy to see why some businesses will take the attitude of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So what would you say to a business who's never had a call or an email from the Ombudsman or a challenging employee dispute?
Well, that's where the term the rainy day policies sort of do come in place. If a business hasn't got policies and procedures in which it operates under, they could be setting unfair precedences from case A to case B. They could manage with their first issue, just winging it through the process, maybe getting it right, maybe getting close to the point, but then they could get to the second process and do it completely different. That second case actually then has a contest for procedural fairness about, well, how come person A got treated differently to person B? Did a business have policies in place and therefore did they follow them? Which is that common point of procedural fairness. A good handbook is to set the scenes of what an employee should be and how that good employee should be operating, and keeping it down to the basics of the pieces for the Fair Work Act. If a business then wants to go into how to do manuals or operation manuals, how to do your job or your position descriptions, then they should be kept different again from the policy manual in a separate operations manual, separate job descriptions. And again, all of these outside of the contract, because business needs to change, business needs to evolve, and businesses should review their policies yearly, especially in consultation with their employees. There was one case that I did go through with a client where they'd done everything by their policy, they'd implemented their policy, they told their employees when they first started, but 3 years later they had a sexual harassment case. The business was found partly liable at the end because, yes, it had the policies in place, but they hadn't refreshed their employees' knowledge on the policy. It was implemented 3 years ago. A lot of the staff had been there a lot longer than that policy, and there was no sort of rework or modern reviews of that. So the business could have done more in its powers to prevent that from happening if they did a couple of workshops or revisions throughout the year, at least once a year, on their policies and procedures in toolbox talks and things like that. So having policies is that protection piece that a business can go through challenges when it hits them, as well as ensure consistency throughout their procedures, and again, ensure that they're meeting their workplace obligations as best as possible.
Yeah, I think the other piece on that is when it comes to more the compliance side, so moving away from the policies and procedures, when it comes to minimum rates, when it comes to award coverage, etc. I think that even if you don't do the work right now and you haven't had a call from the Fair Work Ombudsman, when there is a call from the Fair Work Ombudsman and you've got it wrong, the issue or the amount that you may potentially be liable for compounds. I think there's a 6-year liability period, is that right?
Statute of limitations is for up to 6 years. Basically, the powers on which the Ombudsman can investigate an underpayment of claim for the underpayment claim for the employee. And if you navigate that or manage that yourself, well, an employee could technically ask you to look at 10 years if you were to do that internally. But if it went through to the Ombudsman, there would be then the statute on the 6 years. So it's really important that, okay, well, you've got things in place and you may think things are sound for now, but have they been always been sound, and are they always, or are they going to remain sound with the changes? The national minimum wage went up the highest it's ever gone up in the last 12 years, from the Fair Work Act. And we're probably going to look at another big increase next year. Not as big as the 5.2 for the lower sectors of the wages and 4.6 in the awards, but it still might be quite another big one. So if people are above award, or if they're on wrong classifications, or if they're under the wrong award, these salaries that people are getting may come under fire and may be a lot closer to being on minimum wage than you think they are.
And I think the point really to drive home here is not only the 6-year statute of limitations that Jason just covered, but if you make a wrong assessment regarding a pay rate or award classification, not only can the Ombudsman go back 6 years, but multiply that by 5, 10, 15, 20 employees, however many employees are impacted by this assessment. It really, drives home to me the importance of this workplace relations review. It's better to do the hard work up front rather than face the compounded or potential compounded ramifications at a later date.
Does your business currently have a HR or workplace relations issue?
Are you unsure how to work through compliance issues but still achieve a good business outcome?
Why not take advantage of On-Demand HR's free 30-minute online consultation with an experienced HR consultant?
At the end of the consultation, we also provide you with a strategic action plan to resolve your current issues.
To see the types of matters we can help with and to schedule your consultation, please visit ondemandhr.com.au/advice.
We look forward to delivering certainty, confidence and clarity for your business in your HR and workplace relations affairs.